I was interested to take a look back at all the work that I've been making as a choreographer over the past almost 15 years. And I wanted to kind of revisit some of the fragments from these dances that have stayed most with me. Some people have asked me, well, you're still relatively young. I'm still relatively young. Why are you making a work that's kind of retrospective, a work that's looking backwards? And for me, I mean, we kind of live in a day and age where there's so much pressure to always think of something new, make something new. And I think it's important to take a moment to like pause and reflect. And that's a bit why I wanted to work on this solo too, to not just constantly be reaching forward to the future, but also to think like, what is my past? What have I been working on? And kind of a moment to reflect. The work is not necessarily a retrospective where you see like excerpts of different pieces, but it's really fragments. It's like images or small materials that have stayed in my body that I have decided to rearrange into a new dance. And so the work is a lot about memory and what stays with you over time. Part of the process that I was working with the dramaturg Vincent Rafis, who has also worked as a psychotherapist. He's very specific in the questions he asked when I was relating my early childhood memories, so he would ask me to describe the room I'm in and my house. I think the way that I've worked on my memory and worked through the dance, I think the audience also senses kind of emotional resonance of these dance gestures, that they have an imaginary space that surrounds them as I'm also going through different memories in my mind. So I really wanted to create kind of this space of intimacy surrounding me during the solo, as I want to have this proximity to the audience and be able to approach the audience. And there's moments of the piece where I even approach the audience and touch members of the audience, and so that they have a sense really, yeah, I mean, I kept actually coming back to the title body of work when I was making the solo, and I was thinking like, really thinking of the physical presence of the body, and the body has like a physical aspect and it can be touched, and I touched a shoe of the audience and they feel the pressure on their shoe. Or when I was thinking about my upbringing and my family I mean, the rest of my family is working in different fields, but not in the arts. Like my dad was a doctor and my mother is a nurse, and one of my brothers is a doctor, and another brother's an airline pilot. So it's different professions, but they really don't have very much to do with artistic professions. So it was a question that I confront myself with, is why did I end up as a choreographer working in dance? And I think it has something to do with this too, is that to put my body in motion is in a way to, yeah, be able to, as you say, to kind of release some of these emotions and to let them be expressed and to not hold them in. So for me, possibly becoming a dancer and performer was also a chance to let these emotions kind of have an outlet and let my experiences have an outlet in the world. I mean, for me, I think that in my work of dance, I'm often thinking about how art relates to the body. And so primarily, I've been working on stage with dance, but I've tried to also think about how dance can inform other art forms. So I've worked also with text. In this piece, I also have text. I've worked with video in some of my pieces, or with still images, or I've also worked on creating a book that I created in collaboration with a graphic designer. And in that book, it was really about what is the physical experience of the reader. Like it's made up of 7 smaller booklets, and one booklet you like fold open to a giant poster, which is a different physical sensation than a regular book that you flip. Or so yeah, in general, I'm trying to think of like the bodily or physical sensations that the viewer or spectator has when they confront a work of art. And it's hard for me to say from the inside, but what I hope is that, I mean, sometimes what I do has a virtuosity or has something impressive about it, but also even if I do something very, very simple, just a simple gesture, that it's something that, yeah, maybe triggers a memory in the audience or triggers something sensitive or triggers something in their own sensations or physicality that they can relate to. So it's not just about being on the outside and seeing a grand spectacle, but really also having a sense of sensitivity that the actions I'm doing on stage, or in different pieces, the actions that my dancers are doing on stage, that it's something that an audience can connect to and relate to.